Will Hunting is a genius who works as a janitor at MIT. He was secretly completing high-level mathematics theorems that took the math professor at MIT, Professor Lambeau, who is a field medalist, and his colleagues more than 2 years to complete, and Will finished them in a week. Professor Lambeau then seeks out Will and finds him in a courtroom being charged with assault for starting a fight. And to get Will out of going to jail, Professor Lambeau makes an agreement with the judge that Will must meet with him and a therapist every week. Trying to fill out the therapist requirement, Professor Lambeau asks for the help of 5 different therapists, who each quit on Will after the first session. As a last resort, Professor Lambeau seeks out his old roommate, Dr. Sean McGuire, to try and break through to Will because they share the same background and grew up in the same neighborhood. Will and Dr. McGuire's first session was filled with both Will and Dr. McGuire asking many questions, trying to learn more about each other. Will was sent out before the full time because he was looking at a painting that Dr. McGuire had painted and tried to analyze Dr. McGuire's whole life, which bothered him. The next session was held outside at a park, and this is when Dr. McGuire really got through to Will.
What's this? A good taster's choice moment between guys?
This is really nice. You got a thing for swans? Is this like a fetish? It's something like maybe we need to devote some time to?
Thought about what you said to me the other day about my painting. Stayed up half the night thinking about it. Something occurred to me. I fell into a deep, peaceful sleep and haven't thought about you since. You know what occurred to me?
No.
You're just a kid. You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Why, thank you.
It's all right.
It is Dr. Sean McGuire's second session with Will. He has thought about their last session and is trying to break through Will's shell. Dr. McGuire hits Will with an incredibly realistic monologue that makes Will really think about his life, his future, and what he has thought of himself up to this point.
So if I asked you about art, you'd probably give me the skinny on every art book ever written. Michelangelo. You know a lot about him. Life's work, political aspirations, him and the Pope, sexual orientation, the whole works, right? I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. You've never actually stood there and looked up at that beautiful ceiling. Seen that. If I ask you about women, you'd probably give me a syllabus of your personal favorites. You may have even been laid a few times. But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy. You're a tough kid. I ask you about war, you'd probably throw Shakespeare at me, right? Once more into the breach, dear friends. But you've never been near one. You've never held your best friend's head in your lap and watch him gasp his last breath looking to you for help. I ask you about love, you'd probably quote me a sonnet. But you've never looked at a woman and been totally vulnerable. Known someone that could level you with her eyes. Feeling like God put an angel on earth just for you. Who could rescue you from the depths of hell. And you wouldn't know what it's like to be her angel. To have that love for her be there forever. Through anything. Through cancer. And you would know about sleeping sitting up in a hospital room for 2 months holding her hand because the doctors could see in your eyes that the terms visiting hours don't apply to you. You don't know about real loss, because that only occurs when you love something more than you love yourself. I doubt you've ever dared to love anybody that much. I don't give a shit about all that, because you know what? I can't learn anything from you I can't read in some fucking book.
Dr. McGuire uses a lot of ethos in his monologue to Will, saying that he's been to the Sistine Chapel, been in love, and done other things that Will has never done before, only read about. This ethos is Dr. McGuire showing examples that he experienced firsthand compared to just reading of them. Dr. McGuire is showing Will his mistake in that you cannot truly learn everything just from books. You need to experience them for yourself to learn of them. Dr. McGuire also uses a lot of pathos. Every example that he brings up is an emotional and passionate example, either experiencing the beauty of the Sistine Chapel up front with his own eyes or losing a loved one to disease or war. All of Dr. McGuire's examples employ pathos. The importance of this monologue to the rest of the movie is that this was one of the defining turning points where Will snapped out of being an obnoxious, cocky kid to thinking about his true potential and future and starts listening to the reason of Dr. McGuire and Professor Lambeau.